We have to stop Ronan.
How?
I have a plan.
You've got a plan.
Yes.
First of all, you're copying me from when I said I had a plan.
No, I'm not. People say that all the time. It's not that unique of a thing to say.
Secondly, I don't even believe you have a plan.
I have part of a plan.
What percentage of a plan do you have?
You don't get to ask questions after the nonsense you pulled on Nowhere.
I just saved Quill.
We've already established that you destroying the ship that I'm on is not saving me.
When did we establish?
Like 3 seconds ago!
No, I wasn't listening. I was thinking of something else.
She's right. You don't get an opinion. What percentage?
I don't know. 12%.
12%?
That's a fake laugh.
It's real.
Totally fake.
That is the most real, authentic, hysterical laugh of my entire life because that is not a plan.
It's barely a concept.
You're taking their side?
I am Groot.
So what? It's better than 11%. What the hell does that have to do with anything?
Thank you, Groot.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Make Movies Great Again podcast, the only show in the universe with the sole mission of destroying cynicism at the box office. Here are your hosts, Matt, Adam, and Sean.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Make Movies Great Again podcast. My name is Matt Vieira, here with...
Adam Bernardino. Welcome, 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 fans.
And not Sean Abernathy.
Sean is on the disabled list tonight. He will not be joining us in voice or body, but he was with us in spirit.
He's no longer with us for this week. All right, so let's get right into it. We got a bunch of stuff to cover. So first of all, if you listened to last week's episode, you know that we officially kicked off our movie club with The Discovery, a Netflix original movie. And then last week, we added Split and Unbreakable for this week's, but we're not going to talk about the movie club on the podcast. We're going to make it a separate episode from now on for when we discuss the movies, because it's full of spoilers, and we want people to be able to watch this episode, sans spoilers. So it'll be another episode, but it's going to be uploaded at the same time as this one. So if you're listening to this podcast, chances are the other episode is also up talking about Split and Unbreakable. For next week, we have decided on... It's on Netflix, Adam, right?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It came out in theaters, and it's called Kubo and the Two Strings. It's an animated movie. All three of us are really interested in seeing it and never got around to seeing it in theaters, and I'm personally really excited.
Not only is it I heard it's a phenomenal. It's animated. Technically, it's stop motion, and it's like revolutionary stop motion filming that makes it seem like it's just CGI the entire time. But if you look at the behind the scenes stuff, it's amazing. So, Kubo and the Two Strings for next week's movie club, and again, the other episode tonight will be Unbreakable and Split. So me and Adam are going to chat about that, and I got a lot to say actually because I don't think I've seen Unbreakable since I don't know. It's probably been a good decade since I've seen Unbreakable.
I had never seen it until yesterday. I watched it yesterday morning.
Nice. So we'll have a lot to say about it, I'm sure. So we started doing some cool stuff this week on our Twitter account. Actually got a pretty good interactions with it. We started doing polls. So the first one we led off with, we did when the Defenders trailer dropped. We put out who is everybody's favorite Defender. And Adam, do you know who that was? Do you know who got number one?
Daredevil?
It was Daredevil by a landslide. It actually went in the exact order of how they were released on Netflix. It went Daredevil at 49%, Jess Jones 30%, Luke Cage at 13%, and Iron Fist is a lonely 8%, which I'm actually surprised Luke Cage wasn't higher, but...
I could see, I understood that Daredevil was number one. I thought Jessica Jones would be higher.
Yeah,
I voted for Jessica Jones.
Yeah, I mean, I think the season 2 of Daredevil just solidified in everybody's mind that that's the best show. That's the best Netflix one. Also, I guess I didn't really specify, but I was kind of just saying in general who's your favorite, Defender, who's your favorite, hero, not necessarily what's your favorite Netflix show.
Yeah.
For me, it's still the same. It's Daredevil, but
if I was going hero, I'd probably go back to Daredevil.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. We'll try to be aware of that next time.
Yeah. And then another one we did, we were talking about which Star Wars character on May the 4th. We wanted to see what Star Wars character should get his own or her own spin-off movie, how they've been doing the spin-off movies. Obi-Wan Kenobi ran away with that one with 43%.
Yep.
Which was unsurprising, I guess. Another one we did. We talked about what?
Who did you vote for?
Obi-Wan.
I picked Darth Maul.
That's a good one. The only problem with him is I don't know. I think he's spoiled for a lot of people with Episode 1. They kind of ruined him, to be honest.
Yeah, that villain had so much potential.
Boba Fett, another fan favorite one that people want to see a spinoff for. He was number 2 at 32%, and Darth Maul was 22. Captain Phasma, apparently nobody wants to see a Captain Phasma one.
I'm not that interested in Captain Phasma.
I'm kind of interested. I'm not gonna lie. 3%. That sucks.
Now, is she supposed to be in the next one? Because I thought I saw her in the trailer.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Why wouldn't she be? Because she fucked up the whole thing in the first one. She got captured way too easily and beat up.
Yeah, and they put her in a trash compactor, right?
Yeah, but I think that was just more for paying homage to the last compact, in the trash compactor in the other movie.
Yeah.
And then you got we did Game of Thrones spin-offs. We did some funny ones here. We did 50 Shades of Frey, Better Call Saul, and Starks and Recreation. Starks and Recreation won, and I made the joke after the poll was over that Arya would be Ron Swanson.
Oh God.
So,
that's the one I picked. I picked Starks and Recreation.
Yep. And then we did one today that's still ongoing. So if you want to vote and you're listening to this early enough, which Wonder Woman accessory or piece of gear that she totes would you choose? Did you see this one today?
I did. Yeah, I voted.
So the lasso of truth, the bracelets of submission, her tiara, or her invisible plane.
I like the bracelets.
I went bracelets as well. Those are badass. They deflect bullets left and right. So I'm definitely going with that.
They deflect fucking laser beams from Doomsday.
That's also very true. So yep. So we're gonna start doing polls. Monday through Friday.
Look forward to that. We'll start doing polls more often. Topical polls, and you'll be able to search the hashtags and all that good stuff. So tell your friends. Get your vote on. Be heard.
So that was Poll Metrics, working title. Now we're going to get into bad movie descriptions. Sean's not here, but that didn't stop Adam and I from coming up with a few good ones, actually. I just read yours, and I think I just figured it out, but it took me a while. I'll start with the first one. 2 Porta-John attendants enlist the help of a king to beat up Diamond Dallas Page.
I mean, obviously I know this one.
Yeah.
But this is a really good one. This is Ready to Rumble.
That is correct. I figured you would get it. I was hoping that Sean would be on because I don't think he would get it as quickly. And I wanted you to be in the background dying, waiting to answer, and have Sean struggle with it for a minute. But you want to do yours?
Yeah. A newscaster loses his job after a swearing rant on air that leads him into a fight for his life against a bear.
I'm not gonna lie. It took me a little while. That's Anchorman, though, right?
Yep, that's Anchorman.
It took me a while. It took me a little bit. I think I glazed over newscaster, and I'm like, "What the fuck movie is this guy gets fired for a swearing rant?" I was just like,
I couldn't say Anchorman.
Now, did you get my second one? Do you know this one?
The second one is.
God damn it! I didn't think you would. All right, so. A veterinarian poses as an FBI agent to help his underworld crime boss dad get out of some legal trouble. What movie is that, Adam?
That's Corky Romano.
That's a good.
I love that movie. That movie's so funny.
Oh man, don't ask me how I thought about that movie today, but
you know what's weird? I recently read an article about Chris Kattan. I don't know if we talked about this because he's been non-existent recently, right?
Yeah.
The past 10 years.
Yeah.
Apparently, he broke his neck or something and got bad treatment or didn't get treatment for it, and it's been a long road to recovery. Look it up. I thought it was pretty crazy.
Can he walk?
Yeah. I don't think he's paralyzed or anything. He's just he was messed up for a long time.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I guess I didn't really put 2 and 2 together. I know he hasn't been on. He was on SNL, right? Or was that Mad TV?
No, SNL.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I just one of those characters I really haven't seen around. You know who you haven't seen in a long time either? Rick Moranis.
What the hell is that guy? He's still collecting checks from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
I guess, right? Honey, I Shrunk the Kids royalties. But, I don't know. He apparently he quit acting. I remember I read a story. He, quit acting to raise his kids or some kind of bullshit like that.
Really?
Real, yeah. Yeah, real selfish move there, Rick. All right, so that was bad movie descriptions. Let's get into what
we've got a lot of trailers of the week.
We
Trailers
absolutely
of the
do
week now because we had a hot week coming out. I'm gonna go out of order here.
Go for
just
it.
with one that I know we've touched on and we can just glaze over. The final Wonder Woman trailer came out today, and this one was all action. And I thought it was. They still haven't given anything away. Like they still haven't shown the villain really. They haven't.
Yeah.
I mean, you know the story a little bit, but and early reviews in for it are extremely positive. So this could be the kickstart that DC is looking for in their movie franchises.
I bet you that if this movie does well, and I think it will, I'm pretty confident it will. I think this is going to be what it takes for like a bunch of interest to come on like board for the other movies. Like I bet Flash gets its director. I wouldn't be surprised if a bunch of the movies they have planned get pushed up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely.
They needed something like this after Suicide. And me and you both like Suicide Squad. We can't, you can't take that away from us. We still enjoyed the movie, but the majority of people didn't enjoy it. So hopefully this will kickstart the DCEU. So, yeah, awesome. It was a great trailer. It was super badass.
Oh yeah, she's gonna be awesome.
Yep.
Trailer 2, we also touched on this one before. It Comes at Night.
Yeah.
Did you see this trailer?
I did. I looked it up as soon as you sent it over to me because I had forgotten about it. It was one of those things that just kind of slipped through the cracks in all the Fast and Furious, tizzy that I worked my yeah.
But so It Comes at Night, starring Joel Edgerton, and Christopher Abbott is the other guy I noticed in the trailer, and I know who that is from another movie he was in called James White with Kid Cudi. We can talk about that another time. That's neither here nor there, but it's really good. It was on Netflix, so if you ever get the chance, watch it. It Comes at Night, and it's about this family that lives out in the woods, and another family stumbles upon their home. I guess something is going on in the world where like everybody is in panic lockdown mode. And again, like they give you next to nothing in this trailer, but it's so suspenseful. We've talked about this before, how like I'm not into scary movies, but I'm into this. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see this movie when it comes out.
Well, it definitely rides the line more towards thriller than like traditional horror too. So
yeah, you're right.
It has that kind of like thriller aspect to it. It makes you. You're right. It gives you nothing. It kind of like makes you think that it's like one of those like just a generic like infection movies like. Like zombie type, like there's something spreading and people have whatever. But I think that it's gonna pull, it's holding its punches, it's pulling its punches right now, and I think it's gonna surprise. There's something more than meets the eye there, and the trailer's doing a great job of hiding it. So
yeah, depending on when this comes out, my guess would be it does surprisingly well at theaters. Not as well as something like Get Out, but
yeah.
I'm trying to go through here quick to see when it comes out. I
thought it was next sometime in the next few months.
So it comes out.
It comes
out
at
June 9th, and
yes.
So it could. I mean, people. I like The Mummy. But people might not be too jazzed to see it because we've seen 3 of them already. You know what I mean? And you can't beat The Mummy Returns.
No,
you can't beat The Mummy Returns.
Yeah, you. This is gonna be a deep cut. I don't know if you even saw this one, the one with Jet Li, the 4th one.
No, I didn't.
I mean, I guess it's not technically the 4th one, but it comes after Scorpion King, and that's not technically a mummy movie, but it really is. I mean, it is and it isn't. But. The one with Jet Li, and I even forget the name of it. I bought it so this is my new thing recently. I'm not going to go off track for a second, but I go to Cumberland Farms. They have a movie rack. They sell Blu-rays. They're $5, brand new. And I bought a bunch of movies for a song at Cumberland Farms, and that was one of them.
Shout out to Cumberland Farms,
just
your local movie stop.
I know, seriously. Like Blockbuster closes down, Cumberland Farms opens up, and they're selling movies, man. And so that just completed my mummy collection. Right
you know what else? You know what else too is awesome about that? They guaranteed there's a red box outside, not the like.
Oh right, yeah,
red
totally.
Awesome.
Yeah, Redbox is the shit.
Have the movie you want. They don't have the movie you want, and Redbox just go inside there's a chance they got something in there that you wanted to see when it came out. You didn't see it. You can own it for $5.
I totally agree with you. It's crazy. They have such a weird mix. But anyway, all right. So It Comes at Night. Check out that trailer. It's pretty fucking nuts.
Okay, It Comes at Night. Another one which came out, of course, on Tuesday, the day after our last podcast. The Dark Tower.
Oh my God.
Idris Elba and Matthew motherfucking McConaughey.
Yes.
I can't wait to see this movie. Two of my top 5 man crushes. It's a lot of man crushes, but 2 top 5ers in the same movie.
It looks awesome.
Do you know anything about The Dark Tower?
I don't know anything. I didn't know anything until literally I watched the trailer. I didn't know anything about it.
So I'll have to let you borrow it. I have it's a Stephen King book, but there's also graphic novels and comics. It's like a pretty widespread thing, and it's about a gunslinger who protects his world against the Man in Black, who's played by Matthew McConaughey. The Man in Black is essentially the devil.
Okay.
He's trying to destroy everything, remake the world in his image, something along those lines. And the one that I have is almost like the starter story. You know what I mean? It's like it's a comic. It's like not a comic. It's in between a comic and a graphic novel, and it's about when the gunslinger first, this kid Roland, initially becomes the gunslinger. It's like his first big takedown. You know what I mean?
All right.
But it looks like it's. I don't know if this story exists in like the gunslinger universe, but it looks so awesome, and. Idris Elba is certified badass. I can't wait to see him out there shooting bullets, like throwing bullets around, like the action and everything looks crazy.
I like that. That's cool shit. Like when they do like the kind of like make fantasy out of like reality. Like it's a real it's not like a laser gun. It's just like a 6-shooter. But he like reloads the gun by throwing bullets in the air and catching it in the barrel and not shit like that. I like that.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, I'm so down for this movie. This is just like great to its like core. It's just like good guy, bad guy, like fantasy world. I'm all into it. It reminded me kind of like Narnia meets what's that movie where they curve the bullet? Wanted with It was Angelina Jolie in that movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I've got it on DVD here. I've never seen it.
It's just like wild gun moves like that, but also Narnia because this kid finds like the hole in not in the closet, I guess, but like,
yeah,
like the connection between worlds. So yeah, that's my analogy for the day.
And that comes out soon, right?
May 3rd?
Oh no.
No, wait.
May?
No, it dropped
yeah. That's when the trailer came out. Okay.
Yeah, no, that can't be possible. That was last week. I don't know when it comes out. Let me look it up. I'm going to look it up right now. Bad Radio, right now. It's coming out on... Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. So much pressure. So much pressure. The Google machine. August 4th.
August 4th, okay. Mark the calendar.
4th. Thank you, Google. All right, and then the last one on the list for trailers of the week. It's the movie we've been waiting for this movie for a while. Blade Runner 2049. They've released a bunch of teasers. They released a bunch of like posters and images and things like that. But this is the first legit trailer, and it's like they give you nothing.
They give you nothing, but it looks awesome.
They somehow.
It's your first look at Jared Leto, who I'm assuming is the bad guy.
It looks like it. He's a fucking crazy person.
Yeah, he looks awesome. And then you see Ryan Gosling and
Decker.
Harrison Ford, and who is the woman in it? I'm pretty sure she's super famous. Well, she's famous. She's in Wonder Woman too. Batista's in it.
I know.
See him in the
with the world's smallest glasses on.
Oh, Robin Wright.
Who's
also going to be in Wonder Woman this summer. She's playing. She trains Wonder Woman.
Yes. And do you know what other movie she's in?
Tell me everything. I
believe, and I'm gonna double check this. I think she's the girl from Unbreakable. Am I wrong?
When did the movie come out?
Yeah, she is. She is. Holy shit! What a fucking connection. We're gonna talk about Unbreakable later on. She's the wife. She's the wife in Unbreakable.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Holy shit.
Yep.
What?
Damn. I
Nailed.
was just like saying that. I'm like, she looks very familiar. She does.
Hey,
That's fantastic. Cool.
I wanted to mention this before we got into the Blade Runner trailer. As two guys that are consider themselves poster savvy connoisseurs.
Yes.
How amazing were the two the matching?
Oh, I
posters?
need both of them next to each other.
That's so
Possibly,
cool.
possibly if I have a wall big enough, framed in the same frame.
I might see if I can get a full wall mural at my apartment of both posters.
I might just go on Etsy and hire an artist to just paint it on my wall. Maybe get a tattoo. I'll get one of them tattooed on my back, and you can get the other one.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right, I'll do Harrison Ford. You can do Ryan Gosling. I know how you like Ryan Gosling.
He's up there. He's on my list.
All right, so yeah, I mean it was awesome. You just recently saw the first Blade Runner, so it's fresh in your mind. Like, how good of a job do they do? Like the art style, like it seems like the same movie. Like it seems.
Oh my god, it seems like the same movie,
Yeah.
but it's got all like the appropriate like CGI updates.
Sure.
And I mean, it looks like he uses practical effects like the vehicles and some sets and stuff.
Yeah.
It looks really good. That like the action you get to see. Ryan Gosling is such like a captivating actor.
Yeah.
So to see him next to the timeless badass Harrison Ford it'll be a sight. And crazy Jared Leto.
Insane Jared Leto.
So I'm really looking forward to this.
Check out that trailer if you haven't seen it. Blade Runner 2049. Let's get into mail time because we do have some mails. Hold on, let's do this. Hopefully this works.
You've got some mail.
So we got ourselves a voicemail this week. It has something to do with our main section of this podcast, which has to do with sequels, but it's a callback to a previous episode we did. It was episode 6. It was about we made commandments for going to the movie theater. Like, what were the cardinal rules that you need to follow when going to the movie theater? Adam, you weren't a part of this one.
I was not.
So I'm going to be interested to see what your reaction to this one is, and if you think that this would be put on your list of like rules when going to the movie. So just a little background. This podcast was sent to us by our friend Andre, who does the Backseat Directors podcast. He's on Twitter at the BD Podcast. So let's listen to what he has to say.
Hey guys, just listen to episode 6 of Make Movies Great Again. This is Andre Hutchins from the Backseat Directors podcast. This was a fantastic episode, guys, but man, I have to add one cardinal rule that you guys failed to mention, and I'm so surprised you guys failed to mention this, but maybe it's not as prevalent where you guys are from in the theaters that you attend, but here in Utah, man, oh man, do we really struggle with bringing kids to movies. And I'm not talking just like kids or toddlers, I'm talking infants. I swear it happens every other movie I go to, and that has got to be my number one commandment for moviegoers is please do not bring your babies or your children to a movie at all, ever. And I don't know if there's like a standard age for kids when it's appropriate to start bringing them to movies that, maybe once they can sit still, maybe that's, I don't know, age 6 or 7, something like that. But if you have a baby, don't bring your babies to the movies. That's my voicemail. You guys do a great job on your podcast. Love listening to you guys. And again, this is Andre Hutchins with Backseat Directors signing out.
Andre, thanks for calling in and leaving the voicemail. I actually love your podcast. I listen to it all the time. So they just have a new episode out about the zookeeper's wife. But anyway, so Adam, infants. We're talking infants. Infants in the movie theater. Is this a thumbs up or a thumbs down scenario?
I mean, well, hold on a sec. I'm confused. First of all, I'm 100% siding with Andre. That is an absolute cardinal rule. And like, don't bring your baby to the movies. No. Do not do it. That's like, it's an inconvenience for everyone.
Yeah.
Including yourself. Why would you torture yourself like that?
That's the point I'm coming from. This infant is not driving themselves or taking an Uber to the movie theater. They're brought there by their parents. Why on earth, as a parent, would you want to bring your infant to a movie where you have to absolutely keep them 100,000% silent the entire time? How you can't do that?
I will say this though. when I have a child someday,
Don't do it.
Let me give you an example.
Okay.
If I had a kid and Justice League came out, and like I gotta watch the kid tonight, but Justice League came out tonight, I'm taking that fucking kid to the movie.
How old are you taking them though?
It does not matter. I'm seeing the movie.
No, that's crazy. That's crazy. I understand the need to go see it. I would sooner leave the kid at home by itself.
What do you do? Just duct tape it to its crib?
Yeah, I would just like I would get one of those, I'd hide it from my wife. I would just get like one of those hamster cages and get like one of those water bottles in the thing and just like a plate of food, and it couldn't possibly shit itself to death, so it would just have to hang out until I get back. 2 hours, 3 hours, they can wait.
Tops. 3 hours tops.
Listen, Andre, I actually have a really funny story about infants in movie theaters. So I think you're right. It's not that big of a problem where we are. I don't know, Adam, do you have any like really big like things with infants?
Never. I'll before you get into your story though, I'll say something quick. When I went to go see Lego Batman, it's a like kids movie. And I loved it, but the theater was a fucking war zone when we left. There was a full slice of pizza face down on the floor of the movie theater, popcorn everywhere, toys. I saw a shoe. Like the kids next to me couldn't sit down. They were running around up and down the whole damn time. So it was a goddamn war zone.
That's too funny.
Like part of me would almost rather have a baby there than a theater full of toddlers running around.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with that's
my recent experience with kids at the movie theater. But what's your story?
I don't know. I guess like we go to a lot of like really late showings, right? So that kind of weeds out a lot of the kids at that point. You know what I mean? Like, and if you're going to see more mature movies, obviously they're not going to come. But I have a story that breaks both of those. That makes like both of those the majority, and this one the minority. But we went to go see Ryan, who does the other podcast with me, Average Nobodies, and Adam, you know Ryan. We went to go see Limitless, the movie with Bradley Cooper and Robert De Niro. Right?
Yeah.
Limitless?
Yeah.
It was a midnight showing. Don't ask me why we went to go see a midnight showing of this movie, but we went to go see a midnight showing of Limitless. It's a rated R movie, and there was an infant crying in the movie almost the entire movie. Now, listen, the baby was less than a year old. Had to be. Not that like a rated R movie is going to corrupt a less than 1 year old, but why in God's name are you bringing a fucking infant to that movie at midnight? What are you doing with your life?
That's crazy.
That's insane.
That is just crazy.
Insane. I don't know. But yeah, no, I don't know, Andre. I don't know why. I guess we don't really deal with it that much, but it should definitely be on the master list, the master commandment list. So thanks for adding that.
Absolutely.
So that was our mail time. Let's pop into a very short movie news this time. We'll get into the main topic.
So movie news this week, as Matt said, we decided to focus more on trailers this week, and so we've got a few bullet points for you. Shia LaBeouf, a fan favorite here at Make Movies Great Again, will star in a new movie called The Peanut Butter Falcon. Matt and I are avid professional wrestling fans and have to do with wrestling, so we're both psyched about this. Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat, the sequel to Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. That's the title, Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat. I like the title. I've been seeing a little bit of criticism about it in the interwebs. But I think it's pretty cool. It fits with the movie.
Yeah, Doug Liman, and I think that's how you pronounce his name. He did the first one. I actually was reading an article today. He put an interesting little story saying how the first one, the title is it's technically Edge of Tomorrow, the title. But it didn't do that well in the theater, and when it came out on DVD, they remarketed it as Live, Die, Repeat. And I guess the Blu-ray sales went with gangbusters. So
that movie, I didn't see it in theaters, but like when I saw it on HBO or whatever, I love that movie. That movie's sneaky awesome.
It is really sneaky awesome, so I'm super excited for that, definitely.
Hey, nobody runs away from an explosion like Tom Cruise.
Nobody does. Not one person.
Did you see this? Amazon is developing a comedy starring Danny DeVito and Jeff Goldblum.
I didn't see it until you put it here in the document, and I can't wait for that. I don't know. It doesn't matter what it's about. I don't care.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know what it's about. I don't know. That's literally all I know about it. But those two guys in a comedy together is going to be gold.
The last time I saw Jeff Goldblum on TV, like in a show, he was Rachel Berry's dad, one of her gay dads in Glee.
Really?
Yeah, and I love that show, and he was in it a few times, but yeah.
Hey, what about when he was Ruxin's dad in The League?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot he was Ruxin's dad, too. That's funny. Yeah.
That was the perfect casting.
Yeah,
for Ruxin's
that's
dad.
really funny.
And then the last one, which I just added in, this was earlier this week. It didn't make top headlines, but it's something we care about deeply. Ben Affleck has started working out for the Batman.
I'm hard.
Oh yeah, I couldn't. I almost fell out of my chair at work when I saw this.
He was jacked up in Batman v Superman.
Enormous. Like we thought he was jacked in the town.
Oh yeah, forget it. It's a whole other level.
You know what's crazy? I read this article. I think it might have been on Cinema Blend, and it was like, it broke down the sort of physical attributes of Ben Affleck's Batman, and like how strong the character really is. Like if you break down all the weights he's lifting and the force he punches with, it's basically superhuman. I'll have to find the article and send it to you, but it was really cool. And Ben absolutely got into that type of shape for this. I mean, I don't.
It's what you need. It's what you need.
I'm not saying he doesn't.
Yeah, he looks like when the scene of him working out to fight Batman in Batman v Superman, he looks like the cartoon that Frank Miller draws for like the Frank Miller Batman. And the Frank Miller Batman is not low key thick. He's a high key thick, fucking jacked up Batman. So he's fucking jacked, and that's what Ben Affleck looks like. No homo. Actually, a little bit.
We're gonna get into our main topic of the week.
Main topic.
Our main topic, on the heels of seeing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which Matt and I both saw and loved this weekend, we started thinking about which sequels we really love, because Hollywood and critics and everyone are really critical of sequels these days, and it seems like all we see are sequels, but you got to have some love for sequels, because there are some out there that are really, really great.
Yes.
And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was a great sequel.
It absolutely was. We'll hopefully do a talk, the three of us, get Sean on here too soon, and we'll talk about Guardians Volume 2, but you hit the nail on the head. Like, there's a lot of hate being thrown around for sequels and remakes and things like that, but you have to be reminded that a lot of Hollywood is built on good sequels. So we're going to get into this, and we're going to talk about our favorite sequels, what makes a good sequel. So, let's start from the top. What, in your eyes, Adam, what makes a good sequel? Like, what's a good... Like, why... In what scenario do you need a sequel? What makes a good one?
In what scenario do you need a sequel? You need a sequel. Pretty much everything needs a sequel these days. The money's there. But movies that warrant good sequels are movies that tell a complete story. You can leave the movie theater happy, and at the end of the movie, you're not feeling like, oh, now I've got to wait for the next one. You want that feeling like, oh man, I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah. I agree.
There's a fine line there.
Yes.
There's a fine line.
Yeah.
And the one that's coming to the top of my mind right now is Pirates of the Caribbean 1. Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome movie. Pirates of the Caribbean 2. Pretty good, but you left the theater like, okay, now I've got to wait 3 more years for the third one.
Yeah, that was the big problem between 1 and 2 and 2 and 3, I think. It was 2 and 3 were almost the same, like almost one giant movie, but they just decided to cut it in the middle instead of just sinking it down to one. But you're right, you had that like can't wait for number 2, and then when the number 3 was coming out, you're like, oh, what the hell? I gotta wait all the way for number 3. You're right. You're totally right. And that's a great distinction actually, because it's tough to like. I guess for me, like what makes a good sequel is like you gotta have a character that you want to revisit again. Like, because that character probably is going to be the main character. You got to have someone you want to revisit. Someone that still has corners and, like, things that you haven't, like, discovered about this character yet. Again, I'll bring it back to Guardians 2. Like, you have a whole. I mean, there's a lot of like really like I'll put quote unquote main characters, like main protagonists in these movies, but Star-Lord, Chris Pratt, like you discover more things about him in this next one that you don't in the first one, and it keeps it interesting. So I think that's a really big thing too in sequels. And like you said earlier, you're saying everything's been getting sequels now. And I guess like right now, I guess we can kind of talk about like some of our favorite Hollywood sequels and what they did good, what they did good, and what they did. How we just explained why these sequels needed to happen. Not needed to happen, well, why they happened and why they were successful. So you want to start off? Do one?
Yeah, I'll start off with probably one of the best sequels of all time, The Godfather Part 2.
Yes.
A lot of people think that The Godfather Part 2 is better than Godfather Part 1. I'm sort of on the fence. I love them both equally, but you bring back that same character that you love and you want to learn more about him, you want to learn more about his family and how his mind works and Michael Corleone, and then you build on it. You bring back another character, you bring back Vito Corleone, the father, but this time, wait a second, it's him when he was Michael's age. And you go back and forth, and you see the parallels between the two of them growing up and becoming this leader.
Yeah.
And this, by far, when you're talking about greatest sequels of all time, this is the first one that comes to my mind. Obviously, I wrote it down first on my list.
Yeah, and that kind of checks the box on what we were talking about earlier about, discovering more about characters, and there you go, just seeing Vito when he was Michael's age, like that kind of thing in Godfather Part 2.
And this was a movie that you didn't need a sequel.
Oh, absolutely not, no.
But they made a sequel and it blew everybody's pants off.
But you're right, it's like highly regarded as one of the best of the, definitely a lot of people say it's the best of the series, best of the three.
Yeah.
So.
I'll do my second one. You want to do 2 and 2?
Yeah.
My second one, this sort of got me thinking on this topic, was Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World. It was on AMC last night, and I was like, I couldn't help myself. I love that movie. It's one of my personal favorite sequels. Is it a great movie? Probably not. But is it entertaining? You bet your ass it's entertaining. It brings back probably the most interesting character from Jurassic Park in Ian Malcolm by Jeff Goldblum, and it builds on it. You get Julianne Moore. Everybody forgets that Vince Vaughn's in that movie.
Yep.
And now you've got this whole new element of an island without fences, 2 competing teams with working for the same company. It's got a lot of really great elements into it that make it a sequel with the same theme but a different story.
It's not held in high regards like compared to the first one as a sequel, but there's something about The Lost World that I just really like. Like I don't know. There's just something
about it.
Yeah, the Jurassic Park movies are great, but they kind of kept in this second one in the sequel, they kept the wonder and the look and the feel of the first one without having to how a lot of sequels do, where they amp up the CGI and things like that. A lot of it was practical effects. It had the same feeling, like the rainy, muddy, just savage island like you get from the first one. And it's a different island, right? Technically, it's not the same island as the original. That's the original.
It's a different island.
So, but you still get that same feeling of the first one. So I thought that was really cool, and they really did. I like the I guess you call it set design and prop design, the cars and
It's like they took all the props from the first movie and just used them for the second.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. It really felt like it's the same universe. It felt like the same universe, and that's what it should do if that's the type of sequel you're doing. So I really enjoyed that. The first one, let's see, the first one for me, Back to the Future 2.
Yup.
Back to the Future, the 3 of those movies are up there, in probably my, probably top 10 favorite movies. It's tough to I'm gonna count them all as one for putting them in my top 10 because that wouldn't be fair for them to take up 3 spots. But Back to the Future 2 is so cool. It gives you so much film lore and pop culture thing, between Marty McFly's hat, the color changing hat, and the hoverboard, right? I mean, this is stuff that, the self-lacing sneakers, this is stuff that still to this day, the hottest sneakers in the streets right now are the self-lacing Nike Mags.
Yeah.
I mean, when those came out, everybody started losing their minds.
Seth Rogen wore at the Oscars, right?
Who wore him?
I think Seth Rogen wore him at the
Yes,
Oscars.
he did. You're right, because he got out of the DeLorean. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that's what, like that kind, and it's so iconic. It's so quotable. It continues like we were saying earlier. It continues a story. You're like, this movie was awesome, and then you're like, and I can't wait for the next one. It wasn't like, oh god, like what's gonna happen? Like it was open ended, and the movie like it was one of the first movies that I watched when I was a kid that like really made me think, like really like makes you think, because you have to actually kind of think about time travel movies, and those movies are kind of hard to follow sometimes, but Back to the Future does it where you can still enjoy it, and like the comedy brings levity to like the whole situation, and characters are fantastic. I mean, Doc Brown, Marty McFly, Biff Tannen. It's characters like like this is just it's just a classic. So Back to the Future 2 is my number one. Probably close behind that one is Aliens.
Oh.
Just because you develop this character in Alien, the original Alien, Amanda Ripley. Right? Yeah. Ellen Ripley. Amanda. I've been playing the video game, and you play as her daughter, Amanda.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah, I got. Anyway, you develop this awesome character, Ripley, and then you just like she becomes a badass at the end of Alien.
And then the villain too, like the antagonist of the Alien, the perfect killing machine.
Yeah. And then you unleash her in a new movie, and she kind of like just picks up where she left off.
Full blown badass.
Yeah. What? You're breaking up.
Oh, sorry. The original Alien, Ridley Scott. Aliens, James Cameron.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You get two directors like that. There's gonna with the story and the universe and the characters that Ridley Scott built. You're gonna get some magic.
And that's not an easy feat to switch directors like that and still be a good sequel.
Absolutely.
So, and
really
speaking of James Cameron.
Okay, James. Speaking of, I know you probably would have put this on here if I didn't beat you to it.
Yes.
Terminator 2, Judgment Day. This movie is all time peak. Like, you didn't know you were dying to see Arnold as the good guy until you saw this movie.
Yep.
You bring back that iconic character. You have him do a 180. You've got this cocky kid. You've got full-blown badass mom in the mix now.
Oh, God. So awesome.
Oh, my God. Like, this movie is a 10 as far as sequels are concerned. It upped the action. It did everything right as far as the special effects and the CGI. Like, the perfect amount of CGI and practical effects went into this movie. And it all updated correctly.
Yeah,
you know
so
I mean? Over the years.
I just want to like touch on this. You sent this in the document, the 50 greatest sequels of all time. On Empire Online did this list, and I was looking through it quickly. And number 3 on the list is Terminator 2: Judgment Day.
Yep.
And something I found interesting was the gap between the sequel and the original was 81 months. That's kind of crazy.
Wow,
that's a long time. Like for this to be that good, and I mean, I'll so the top 3 are The Godfather Part 2 is number 2, and that was 30 months in between sequel and the original, and number 1 was Aliens, and that was 86 months between the original and the sequel.
Hey, 2 great sequels by James Cameron. And everybody gets psyched about Avatar 2.
Yeah, seriously, get hyped, man. They just opened up the theme park at Disney. Crazy.
Crazy.
So.
And my last one, which is my favorite Christmas movie, is I didn't know that this was. Well, I mean, I knew it's a sequel, but Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase. I love this movie. I watch it every year for Christmas. Something about Chevy Chase and Griswold. Russ Griswold. That's his name, right?
Rusty, yeah.
Rusty Griswold.
Who's actually the guy from Big Bang Theory.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's the kid from Big Bang Theory. I mean, I don't know his name. I don't watch the show, but anyway, yeah, continue.
But yeah, I love this movie. This movie, it brings back that hilarious family, and for once it puts them back at home in their home element. But you throw the holidays at them, and like it's a perfect mix. It was like a perfect mix because people will go see holiday movies about like families in original Christmas movies, and then you bring back this crazy family and see what it's like during Christmas.
Yeah.
Gold.
Yeah, Chevy Chase is at his peak, like his
Cousin
peak in
Eddie?
that movie. Oh, and Cousin Eddie too, Randy Quaid, lunatic. My last one is Kill Bill Volume 2.
Oh, love this movie.
It kind of breaks the thing we were talking about, how, you know what I mean, like you can't wait for the next one, like, oh, we got to wait for the next one. I had a mixed feelings there because it was like I can't wait for the next one, but I'm like, fuck, I got to wait for the next one. You know, it's like it was kind of like that weird mix.
You really wanted to see the next
Because I wanted to see the resolution. The whole movie is about killing Bill. I want to see the motherfucker kill. I want to see the fucking whole thing come to fruition. But I mean, I love Quentin Tarantino, one of my favorite directors. So obviously, I had to put Kill Bill 2 on there. I just want to touch on 3 notoriously bad sequels that I think I still enjoy, but I just like, I don't know, like Jaws 2 and 3, and then any other. I think there's other Jawses as well, but. Other Jaws as well. But Jaws 2 and 3, I don't know if you're familiar. The one with Dennis Quaid.
No, I've only ever seen the first one.
So there's like 2 is like the it's again at Martha's Vineyard or wherever the hell it is actually filmed, and then 3 is they're in a.
They're supposed to be in Massachusetts, Amityville.
Oh right. That's it.
It's a fake town, but I mean.
I think they film. I think they filmed some of it at Martha's Vineyard. And then 3 is they're in a like SeaWorld type amusement park, and Dennis Quaid is like the shark wrangler. Anyway, it's bad. It's bad. And then or the shark like breaks into the SeaWorld or something somehow. It's like insane. It's like through the sewer system or something. I have no idea. And then just quickly, Clerks 2. I love Clerks. Kevin Smith, one of my favorite directors of all time, role model, like the whole thing. Clerks 2 is just so much different than the original Clerks. It has a different feel to it. It's still hilarious. It just doesn't do what Clerks 1 did for me. Like, it doesn't make me want to love cinema like the first one did.
Yeah, I get that.
So,
yeah.
And then Grease 2, I just had to put this up there just so I can get under Lindy's skin if she's listening. Because I hate Grease 2. I hate it with every... And this is going to be super cynical. I hate it with every ounce of me.
Clutching her chest. Like, apparently she loves it, too.
I think it's just... And this is going to sound real bad, but I think it's just a chick thing. I think chicks just like Grease 2. I don't know what it is.
They want to love Grease. That's it.
Grease 1, the original Grease, is a masterpiece. An absolute tour de force of singing. And this second one just shits... Listen. Here's my number one gripe. I don't want to stick on this for too long. Grease 2. Not one of the songs progress the plot at all. Not one thing. Grease 1, they sing through their problems and they progress the storyline. Grease 2, they're just bowling and they're like, let's fucking sing about bowling and then we'll just leave. It has nothing to do with what the fuck we're doing, whatever. It's like we're in health class. Let's sing about reproduction. It has nothing to do with anything that's going on. It just really sucks. And also, Frenchie really has to justify herself being in that movie, and she like does it right off the bat. And I actually that's not an original thought. I actually read that somewhere, but it's hilarious. It's true. Like she has to like justify herself being there. And when you have to really justify yourself as a character being in a movie, maybe you shouldn't be in it. So
maybe it should have been cut.
Maybe Grease 2 should have never been made. Anyway.
So I want to say something, one quick thing, and then I want to get into like our last little sequels thing.
Yeah.
So I see this commercial literally every time we do this podcast. The Domino's commercial that's like the play on Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah. It's the guy from Stranger Things, right?
Yeah, Steve from Stranger Things, the kid they pulled from the 80s.
Yeah.
From the 80s time machine.
Yeah.
I would watch a Ferris Bueller's Day Off remake with that kid.
I would too. I definitely would. I absolutely would.
You know what it is for me? It's the hair.
Yeah. He's got good hair.
Great. He could see himself in top 10 all-time hair. Like that's A+ hair.
He's got a long way to catch up to Kurt Russell, but he's got
the flow is strong with this young one.
Yes. The thing is we have to see the longevity of it. It needs to last as long as Kurt Russell's has.
That's true.
So that's big.
And the last thing I wanted to touch on, which again, one of probably the highest regarded sequels of all time, The Dark Knight.
Yes.
Won't get into it. We could do 10 podcasts about this movie if we wanted to. Everyone, like, this movie, universally loved. The Dark Knight Rises. Oh, it got, like, I love that movie. You love that movie. A lot of people love that movie. It may not be everybody's favorite. Some people might even say it's their third favorite in the series. It's probably my second favorite in the Nolan trilogy. But something I was thinking about yesterday, or the other day, because I read a lot of Batman, and you read a lot of Batman.
Mm-hmm.
If we texted about this, and if there's one thing that I know about Batman, I might catch some gripe for this, and I hope we get some interaction from our listeners, is the ending. And, like, I like the happy ending. I was happy to see that he got away, and, he saved Gotham, this and that, got the girl, and, he's doing his own thing now. That's not what Batman does. Batman doesn't stop being Batman no matter what. Like, he's always there. In every Batman series I've read, he refuses to quit, and that for me, that's almost like quitting. When he can keep going and he doesn't, that's quitting.
Yeah, he takes the easy way out. He doesn't take the easy way out by taking a bomb, but he does. He has the chance to duck out, and he does.
Right, he could come back. He could still be the Batman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It'd make him even more of a symbol if he came back.
Yeah. Yep.
Even more to be feared.
Yeah.
Now, I'm all for him, using his bat meat on Catwoman. That's fine. That happens in the comic book like, once in a while.
Dude, does he keep his bat meat in his utility belt?
It probably is the utility belt.
Okay.
But yeah, like, that can happen, fine. But if maybe you can justify it by saying Joseph Gordon-Levitt steps up. Maybe he's training to be Batman now.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to be there to train him. And even still, he does Batman. Bruce Wayne does not stop being Batman.
Especially when there's a new Batman to be trained. Like, especially, we know from comic books and from other movies, like, Batman trains the next Batman. Whether it's...
And what I wanted to say about this was there like a comic book fan outcry about this when it came out, or did this just sort of get a pass because the series was great?
It got a pass, and I'm going to tell you why. It got a pass because of Heath Ledger. And this is not knocking Heath Ledger at all, so please don't take that this way. It got a pass because Heath Ledger's character was so legendary as the Joker in The Dark Knight that when he died, I think it just I think the wrapping of this making it a trilogy just kind of I don't know, it got that pass. Okay, I think people needed a happy ending.
A little bit of creative flexibility.
Yeah, well, I think people needed a happy ending. Literally, I think people needed a happy ending to this series because they weren't going to get it in real life.
Yeah.
So they needed some kind of closure, and maybe you don't get closure on the Joker, but you get closure on this great Batman series, and I don't know, it just... I think Heath Ledger has a lot to do with it. That's just, I think maybe I can't pinpoint the exact reason, but it has something to do with him. I absolutely think so. I think if Heath Ledger's still alive for the third one, and the Joker's in the third one as well, I think this movie ends I think this trilogy ends on a cliffhanger. I think Batman's still Batman. I think the Joker's still out there.
I think you're right.
So I don't know. So I think it got a pass because of that. A big reason, at least.
And not to discount Bane, because Tom Hardy was awesome as Bane.
Oh yeah, he was the man.
Opposite villain as the Joker, played it perfectly. Brought his own edge, brought his own style, the grittiness of the Nolan style superhero movie. He was great in that role.
Yep,
absolutely.
All right, Adam. Let's wrap that up. What are we watching this week? What are you watching? What did you watch this week?
I did my homework this week. I watched Unbreakable, Split, The Lost World. I watched some Sopranos, Gilmore Girls. You know what, man? I don't know if have I said this on the podcast before?
I don't think so.
Gilmore Girls is a fucking great show.
Really?
That show is good.
Lindy tells me that as well.
It bothered me how fast they talk back and forth to each other, but it's so snappy and so snazzy, and the mom and the daughter are they're so funny. The main character Lorelai is so funny. She's great, and all the supporting characters, and I'm into that show. in season 7. Me and my girlfriend were in season 7, and it's great. I'm all about this show. So
Well,
shout out to Gilmore Girls.
if I happen to find myself watching it with Lindy one time, I'll have to give it a fair shake then.
And you know what? It's one of those shows where like she'll watch 3 or 4 episodes without me, and then I'll just hop back in and I'll get a quick
Oh, that's
clip note,
good.
and
That's
I'm
good.
right back. I'm back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's good. I
But
like
then
shows like that.
I'll watch 2 in a row, and I'll be like, did I miss something? What happened here? They time jumped 6 months.
Yeah. Nice. So
And actually, I wanted to, I've started reading Dune, the book Dune.
Yes, yeah, that's right. You told me that.
And so I'm really interested in it. I'm about 40 pages in, and it's taking me a little bit to get through it. Not because I don't like it, because it's this entire universe of characters that I've never heard of before,
Yeah.
and places I've never heard of before, and they use terms that I've never heard of before. And there's a map, and there's a glossary, and like sort of an index of characters and appendices. So I've been like working my way through those as I'm reading to sort of get an understanding of this universe. I plan on crushing this entire, like the book that I have is all 3 books. I plan on crushing it on my flight to Arizona in
Nice.
May. I should have my review for you when I get back.
Awesome. I'm excited. I want to hear that. And when I read the Star Wars Legends books, I have the same problem. They put at the beginning of all the Star Wars books, they do this great thing, or at least the few I've read. They put characters' names, like what race they are, like what species and what race, like if they're human or they're whatever, if they're a Jedi, how their name's pronounced. So like while you're reading it, you don't feel like an idiot for like pronouncing it totally wrong, or like, you know what I mean? So you kind of know, but I constantly catch myself like reading and be like, okay, who's this person? And then I go back to the front of the book and like look it up and see. So I know who the fuck they're talking about, because all these names are made up totally off the top of the head. They're not like Mike and Matt and Adam and Charlie and shit. It's like, you know, all like weird names. But yeah, so I watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I went out to the movies again. Hopefully we'll do a spoiler cast of that coming up soon. And I watched a few movies here and there, but I've been watching mostly more Gundam on Hulu. I love that series. It's so good. I'm watching Gundam 00 right now.
Crushing the game.
What?
You're crushing the Gundam game.
I'm crushing it right now. It's crazy. I finally got around to it. I've been wanting to do it for a long time, and this one kind of reminds me of the one that got me started on this back in the day, Gundam Wing. It has like 4 main well, more than 4, but 4 main Gundam pilots, and it's actually a pretty good show. And they're only 23-minute episodes. The last one I was watching, they were hour-long episodes, and it was kind of crazy, Gundam Origins. But yeah, so that's it. But yeah, so let's jump right into. We're gonna jump into the movie club with with Split and Unbreakable. So we're gonna end this podcast here. But everybody, thanks for listening. Call in 401-285-8120 if you want to leave us a voicemail. Yeah, and that's it. Check us out on Twitter at MakeMoviesGreat. And that's it for this week, folks. We'll see you at the movies.
Thanks for listening.